Magandang umaga, magandang tanghali, magandang hapon, magandang gabi kung saan man kayo naroon. Tony Lagman, kasama natin ang ating mga co-broadcasters. Umpisa natin kay Ed.
Magandang gabi.
Pasa natin kay Freddie.
Good evening. Good day, everyone. It's great to be here again with my amazing co-host. You know, I have to say this. I really look forward to being in this show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, especially now with COVID, where it's difficult to gather. Here we are fortunate to share news, interviews, and just talk with you in the next hour or so. Don't forget your comments. Huh? With that said, we have a very special guest tonight. His name is Eduardo Trinidad, a retired LAPD officer. And shall I throw the first question? Alam ko naman mga kasama ko mapagbigay sa mga nakakabata sa kanila. So,
But before you do that, pabayaan mo nang bumati si, si Jim.
Oh, okay. That's right. Jimmy Sarenas po, bumabati sa inyo. Good evening po dito sa mga friends natin dito sa California and the rest of the United States. At sa mga katoto po naman sa Kamaynilaan at sa mga karatig po, isang magandang tanghali po sa inyong lahat. Hope you enjoy this hour. Fast-paced po ito at marami po parang matututunan. Very informative and right from the mouth of sabi na, mouth of babes, di ba? Informasyon natin manggagaling doon sa talagang the authority on the issue. Pakinggan niyo lahat. Okay?
Okay.
eto na. Ang pangalan ni ang ating guest ay si Eduardo Trinidad. But I call him Kuya Jerry, and I think, and I believe most of his friends since childhood call him Jerry. So is there a reason why Jerry? You can be called Edward, Eddie, but Jerry is way out of your real name.
Out of context.
Yeah,
My grandmother's favorite actor was Jerry Lewis, the comedian. I don't know if you guys remember him. But my father wanted me named after his boss, General Eduardo Suliman. So I was baptized Eduardo, but being called Jerry all my life. Nobody called me Eduardo, nobody called me Eddie or Ed, but my son is Edward. And that's how I became Jerry, and my legal name is Eduardo, Eduardo.
Oh,
AKA,
Jerry.
yan yata tawag ng AKA.
So, because of Jerry Lewis,
Because of Jerry Lewis, the comedian. Yeah.
the comedian. Does he sing? Does he sing, Jerry Lewis?
Yeah, he's also out of tune, just like me.
I didn't say that.
May tambalan sila ni Dean Martin, di ba? Dean
Yes,
Martin and
yes,
Jerry
yes,
Lewis always had, parang Dolphy Panchito. Ganyan. Hindi, Freddie, bigyan mo kami ng konting background itong hindi ko ikukuya si Jerry dahil palagay ko mas bata siya sa akin. Kaya Jerry na lang ang tawag sa kanya. Bigyan mo nga kami ng background about Jerry.
Jerry kasi, I know him for years already kasi nagkakilala kami niyan sa Masonry. You know, he was from another lodge, San Fernando Lodge, and I'm from Rosemead Lodge. And then, alam mo naman pagka kapwa-mason mo, you call them kuya, kuyang, regardless whether younger, older, that is with respect na lang, kapatid. And then, and Jerry, Kuya Jerry happens also to be my kababayan from my mother's town, province in Zambales, and the same from Iba also, no? And then, nagkapalagayan kami ng talagang ganyan yan, he's really jolly talaga yan eh. Just like Jerry Lewis. Ganyan din yan. And yun na nga, ang gusto kong tanong sa kanya, why LAPD? Why law enforcement? And how old were you when you joined the LAPD? And who were you? Who were you with before LAPD? Can you tell us about that, Kuya Jerry?
I can. But before I answer your questions, I'd like to add that my dad knew your dad.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
his father was a general in the Philippines. So yeah, my dad knew your dad. Now to answer your questions, I did 20 years in the military, the U.S. military, in the Navy.
Oh, okay.
I retired after 20 years. I retired. So when I joined LAPD, I was 43.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the oldest recruits in the police academy.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was an old
Mhm.
an old
Really?
cog. Yeah, yeah. I was running alongside
21
21-year-olds
years old.
and 25-year-olds, and a bunch of them. There were only three over 40s in our class. So in the whole academy, I was one of the oldest recruits. But I
Really?
was not the slowest in the runs. I was not the fastest in the runs because I was in top shape. I was working out all the time. So yeah.
But fastest with the chicks. I mean, joining the LAPD at the age of 43.
Yeah.
So, did you have any challenges that you faced during your training?
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh yeah.
were the younger, the 20-year-olds.
My first,
I know.
my concern, my very first concern was the physical aspect
Yeah.
of the academy because there was a lot of runs. Uh, in my academy days, we were running between 4 to 5 miles every day,
Okay.
and we had our batons running with. And I was 43 years old. December, raining. There was no such thing as no inclement weather. We run whatever our DI would say. Let's run 4 miles, 5 miles from 405 all the way to the airport.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and back. And then we ran the hills, and then we would lift weights, and then we shoot. It's just,
Yeah.
When you
but
say
It's like a boot camp. Yeah.
to the airport,
all the way to the airport.
where
All
was
the way
the
to the
academy then?
academy-
LAX, LAX from
No,
No,
no. The academy was at the old academy.
the old academy.
The
Yes.
Is this
old
the one by
academy-
Dodger Stadium?
Yes, that, and then the newer academy was on La Tejera, and that area. So
Oh, I
almost
see.
in Culver City.
Culver
Yeah,
City.
it was difficult for me because I was 43, but
You
I
showed them.
made it. I made it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So during that time, Jerry, there was no age limit.
There was no age limit.
Okay, but nowadays, would there be an age limit?
I have no idea if there's an age limit. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What about height? What about height? Was
There's
there
no height
any
limit.
no height limit?
I'm tiny. But there are other recruits that are tinier than I am.
Oh, I see.
So
Oh.
during physical, the ground fight, like wrestling or just self defense, using your hands. My partner was same as my stature. So yeah.
Okay.
But it's in the academy. It's how you do it. It's not the strength. It's the technique. So I passed it. Yeah, fortunately, I passed it. But having retired from the military at 43 years old, it was rough because there was no such thing as barracks in the police academy. You have to go home. So I had to drive from the academy to Santa Clarita and back every day. Every day, like sometimes 6 days a week. And I had to get up at 3 in the morning.
Oh, gee.
I had to put ice packs on my knees. And in my hand,
Masakit talaga, no?
seriously, and in my hand, I was reading law books, California statutes, city
for the exam.
ordinances, just to for exams because we had tests every day.
Yes.
Tests every day. So can you imagine me having ice packs and then reading my wife was, are you sure you want to do this?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so
How many months was the training, Jerry?
7 months.
7.
7 months.
Yeah,
Oh.
28
almost a
weeks.
year.
28 weeks. There were 101 of us started on a Monday.
Mm.
There were 84 graduated from my class.
Okay.
A lot of people failed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the chief during that time, Jerry? Was it Parker or
No, Park, not Parker.
Daryl-
Parker was in the 60s.
Daryl
60s
Gates.
was Parker.
Parks.
Park.
Park.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
okay.
It was it was Willie. He was a chief in
Oh.
Philadelphia.
Yes,
Big
yeah,
Willie.
that's right.
Oh, Big
Yeah,
Willie.
Big Willie.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
Willie.
Big Willie.
Big Willie.
Yes.
Willie,
Uh-huh.
Big Willie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the attrition in during my time was really big. Just imagine 101
Mm-hmm.
on a Monday,
Uh-huh.
and then the next day, Tuesday, there was only like 86 of us.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The second day, there was only 86. And then 84 graduated out of 101.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a feat. Mhm.
Yeah.
And this is all after the BI, all the background checks have been done.
After the
all
academy. After the
Yeah.
academy.
after the academy.
You can
Oh,
you can join the academy without doing a BI,
yeah.
medical, and psychological.
Euro.
Yeah, they were laughing at me. My military friends were laughing at me how I passed my psychological test. So, I'm not that crazy. So,
Doon lang marami nang nawi-weed out sa background checks. Doon lang. Sa psychological.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that
So-
crazy.
Yeah,
Sabi nga
and
nila,
the biggest issue, I think in any police academy is your credit.
Mhm.
Your credit, your credit rating.
Oh, okay.
So my advice, if you know somebody, wants to join the police academy, tell them to join while they're young.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Di ba pagka galing ka sa military, meron bang plus points yan?
Yes,
May plus
5
points.
points. Yeah, 5 points.
5 points.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
some
Only-
academies
only-
5 points.
Only 5 points?
Yeah, 5 points. Yeah, 5 points.
Kaya kung 70 ka because of military,
75.
plus 5, 75, pasado ka na.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's right, yeah. Ang maganda niyan pag ang mahirap pala diyan, you're in your 6th month.
Mm.
You're in 6th month of the academy, and then you fail a test.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine 6 months ka na sa academy and you fail one test, you're out. So what happened with the 6 months?
Okay.
Nawala yung 6 months na ipinundar mo sa academy.
Mhm.
So you can't afford to fail a test.
That's right.
So, no retesting?
There's no retesting. You can't fail a test. You can't fail a test.
That's it. If you fail, you're out.
You're out.
Does that include the physical also, the
Yes.
psychological?
Yes,
Everything.
Every 6
Yeah.
months.
Oh.
Oo, kasi
You can't,
That's the academy.
yeah.
Para ka nag-PMA.
yeah.
Mahirap imagine. That's why I was reading my books at 3 in the morning. Yeah, and meron akong sa klase ko, we were about a month away from graduation, and he was kicked out.
Oh, gee.
He failed the test.
That's sad.
He
Do
failed the
people join after high school, or you have to have college credits before you can join the
test.
academy?
No, you have to be 21.
Oh, it's the age.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Jimmy, you're thinking about military. You can join the military after high school at 17 and a half. But in the police, because in the state of California, you can't carry a gun until you're
I
21.
see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. During those times, marami na ring mga women in the force, or
Yeah.
the time.
There was a bunch of women, ladies in my class. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, after my probation, during my probation, I was partnered with a female from my own academy class. So
what was your first assignment after the training?
academy.
At the
I was a
academy, yeah.
Devonshire Division, Reseda and
With-
Devonshire.
With the black and white.
Yeah, I was
Black
driving
and
black
white.
and white. I was driving black and white.
So,
And after probation, you go solo.
Jerry, why donuts? You know what I'm trying to say? Why donuts?
My God.
You know,
Donuts, huh?
when I was new here in Los Angeles, driving home from work late night, a lot of black and whites converge in a donut shop. Why donuts? Why donuts?
Okay.
Is there like a story
Where-
behind that?
Where's your friend? We don't do donuts anymore. We do croissants and bagels.
Oh, iba na
It's a donut house, you know.
Iba na ngayon, no?
Okay,
Excuse me.
let me tell you the history of the proverbial donut in the police.
Yes.
Many,
That's why they
many
said the
years ago-
safest place in the city is the donut store, because of
Free ba yan? Free ba yan, Kuya Jerry? Or you get a discount? Or...
Many years ago, this is the story behind this donuts. Many years ago, there was no Foster's Donuts. There was nothing. It was just Winchell's, right?
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Just
Winchell's.
Okay. The story was Winchell's was getting robbed all the time.
Uh-huh.
So the owner of Winchell's says, let's invite some police officers for coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So all coffees were free for all police officers.
Okay.
And then the police officers would come in and say, oh, donuts. Oh, let me have that. Okay. Here, they would pay for the donuts.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, no robbery, no crime committed
Mm-hmm.
in the donut shop because the bad guys would see black and whites parked all over the donut shop.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it evolved. Hey, why donuts? Donuts for cops. Some cops are just, bloated, sugar and carbs.
So pwede rin pala yung kagaya nung na-interview namin dito about 3 weeks ago si Kuya Manny Likigan, yung Toro Grill House. So siguro sabihin ko sa kanya, free tacos. Para mag-park lahat yung mga black and white ng Glendale doon. Naiwasan niya. Kuya Manny, are you listening?
There's a misconception also that the donuts and coffees are free. No, it's not. We pay.
No, I see officers pay. Yeah.
You get a discount, right?
Sometimes it
Hindi, yung
depends on the manager.
Isa naman, pag nag-discount and they give a tip, so offset lang,
Yeah.
One day usually when I when I stop by a coffee house and I see an officer, because I volunteer when I retired from the DMV, I volunteer as a what do you call it, the COP, like Citizens on Patrol here in my city, just to give back to the city. So when I asked them about when we kid around about donuts, they said, it helps with the adrenaline rush, the sugar, the sugar, because it keeps us awake. Sometimes they stop by at 2 o'clock in the morning, their shift, and they still have to, be gung-ho, be alert as possible.
Yeah.
And they say, bad as it is, but bad for my A1C, but coffee and donuts, and they're quick, you can order them. They don't have to be made in case somebody radios, we can run right away,
It doesn't spoil. It doesn't go bad easy.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
You
it
can
doesn't
keep
go
it.
bad easy. Yeah. And donuts is just, it's now police officers now are kind of embarrassed to park their black and whites in front of the donut shop. I never did that. 17 years. I never did that. I never parked in front of the donut shop. I would park at Starbucks, Denny's, but not.
Here goes again. A free donut.
But I see them pay. They're
Ano lang yun.
Yeah.
I would go to Taco Bell, buy my tacos, but I would park under a tree behind Taco Bell or in the cemetery, the federal cemetery here on Wilshire. That's where I eat my lunch with my to-go lunch from somewhere, and because I want to eat lunch in peace. So, yeah.
Jerry, do you recall your very first arrest? Was it any eventful?
My very first arrest. It was a shoplift.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a shoplift. It was a shoplifting. The arrest is made by the owner of the property. We just transport them to the holding cell. I would just process the papers, and that's it. That was my very first arrest. I arrested a Pinoy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was going to ask the same. I was just going to ask the same question. But anyway, yeah, go ahead. How many Filipinos have you arrested so far?
I think 3 or 4. But the very first one's very interesting. Very interesting. Remember Pac Bell? The
Pakbel, yeah.
cell phones? There was only like 2 cell phone companies
Yes,
in California back then in the 1990s. And I pulled over this guy. I don't know what his violation was. It was a traffic stop. And then I saw a box of cell phones. I just hundreds of cell phones, hundreds of cell phones. So I it was my probable cause to interview him, and I found out that those cell phones were stolen, and he was selling them and shipping them to the Philippines. That was very interesting.
Yeah, there were only 2 telephone companies then, right?
Maybe LA Cellular was
Yeah.
one,
No, I think there was only 2, Pac Bell and Taco Bell, di ba?
Pastor, yung maligong. Hindi mo makalimutan siya. Toro Grill. Ginugutom na naman tayo niyan.
So, Jerry, what happened to this Filipino? Did he know that you were Filipino? When you were arrested?
I don't remember, but I think we spoke Tagalog as was processing him. Yeah, because it was intent to sell stolen goods. So I mean,
So what happened to him?
he was in jail. Put him in jail.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
So what about traffic violations? Any encounter with, let's say, a celebrity?
all the time.
All the time?
All the time. I pulled over Bonnie Raitt.
Bonnie Raitt.
The singer.
The singer, yeah. Well, her driver didn't see the stop sign, but I gave her driver a ticket, and it was Bonnie Raitt, but her driver's license was not Bonnie Raitt. And then her face, you're Bonnie Raitt, yeah. So I have encountered a lot of celebrities. Sharon Stone.
Sharon Stone, wow.
Okay, Sharon Stone. Because I was working West LA, Century City. There was a call on my computer. I was on patrol, and the call was ADW, assault with a deadly weapon with a vehicle. So I responded to that location I was given, and I started seeing a lady walking towards me, and sure enough, it was Sharon Stone. So I spoke to her and said, "What's going on?" I said, "This white car has been chasing me all day." And so I confronted the driver. Paparazzi, just paparazzi.
Oh, okay. So there were reporters.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we went to her office so she can file the report. Interestingly, her secretary looked like a spitting image of Marilyn Monroe.
Oh.
See, I was dumbfounded. She looked like Marilyn Monroe. I said, my goodness. Yeah.
Must have been one of your lucky days, huh?
Yeah.
Usually you don't hire somebody prettier than you, or
I was, and then a month later, the call was Monica Lewinsky. I was by myself again. I did because when somebody calls for police, we don't know who the caller is.
Yes.
We don't know who the victim is. So on our computer was still like green monochrome, and I responded to this location, and when the elevator doors opened, Monica Lewinsky stepped out. Again, paparazzi.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
So, Kuya Jerry, is there a best way to get out of a ticket?
Don't drive.
Don't violate. So,
No.
is there like a secret handshake, that you say to the officer,
No,
to,
just
or
be.
smile, or
You
what?
can smile and just say, just be nice, be friendly. If you're a smart aleck, you
Oh,
know,
yes.
oh, I've done it before. If this guy is, mouthing off, I would take my time. If he's in a hurry, I would really take my time writing the ticket. Usually a ticket is 7 minutes. Usually, it'll take me 15
Yeah,
minutes.
that's right. Even my experience when I was with the DMV, me and my office mates, we are, you can tell them that you work for the department, but it works both ways. So they may tell you, you should know
Exactly.
better. You work with the DMV and you broke the rules. You should know better.
Exactly.
So you just have to be polite, respectful, and accept the consequence. They say if you fight the ticket, fight it afterwards, not during the confrontation, or else you'll be in trouble.
Yeah.
You'll have a harder time. Yeah.
Kaya nga, giving tickets. Do you really have quotas, Kuya Jerry? Ano ba yan? Is that just a myth, or
No, it's
tell
a
us
myth.
something?
Yeah, okay, it's a myth.
Totoo ba yan?
It's a myth.
Myth. Just like the donuts, it's a myth.
It's a myth, huh? Ano ba yan?
The thing is, if you write tickets
At the
during
end
your
of the
shift-
month, mahirap
no,
daw
no,
eh. At the end of the
during your
month.
shift, during your shift, you write a lot of tickets. You look good. You look good.
Yeah,
And in
that's
your
right.
records,
Good,
so you make money for the city. You really make money. Tickets make money for the city.
That's right.
Right,
That's right.
Jimmy?
That's why it's all about performance. Not necessarily a quota for a number of tickets, but let's say Jerry and I are, Freddie and I are cops. Like I write 50 tickets this month, and Freddie writes 10. Of course,
You look good.
I will look good.
Who will look
better than
good?
him because
Jim or me?
yeah,
Jimmy.
because they said what have you been doing? That's what
Well, no, maybe I'm
they
just
tell
at the
me.
right time, at the right place, at the right time. There was no one
Hopefully that's their
violating any
thinking, but
traffic
your
rules.
commander would think that you've been slacking off.
Yeah, Worship Fred's comment. Let me say something about that. I made the most arrests in one deployment period. I've made 17 arrests,
Oh,
but my
17?
ticket 17 arrests. In LAPD, the deployment period is 28 days. So we have 13 weeks. No, yeah. So, and then I was kind of reprimanded by the watch commander. Hey, you only have so many tickets. But Sarge, look at my arrest. I have 17 arrests. I don't care about the arrest. Arrests don't make money for the city.
I see. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The dollar figure.
Yeah. Those meter maids wearing khakis, they make a lot of money for the city.
They make a lot of money.
Don't even cross them. Just don't park. If you're parking in a metered parking, make sure you put something. Otherwise, it'll be $35.
Yeah.
That was then.
Jerry, we segue to the present. When I get to talk with, I work with mostly the sheriff, San Bernardino sheriff's people. The always comes out like it's harder to be a cop nowadays. That's
It is.
always what I hear. You know what? It's harder to be a cop nowadays.
Yes,
I'm sure you would like to talk about it.
sure. One of the reasons why I retired. It's a lot of politics. It's a lot of politics. It's one of the reasons I retired. So I retired because you can't do
Your
the
job.
things you want to do. You can say the S word. You can say the F word. See, the thing is, I was told by a detective once during one of his lectures that sometimes you have to use the street lingo to come across to this person living in the streets or a gangster. Sometimes you have to use the F word or the MF word so they understand you. So you can say those anymore, and you gotta have a body camera. So
Did you have that then?
no,
Not yet, right?
no.
Yeah.
As,
No,
Jerry,
yeah. My black
as
and
a-
white was a Chevy Caprice.
Yeah.
Mm.
This before the
That's
Crown
right.
Victoria.
I drove a Crown Victoria.
Jerry, as a follow-up question dun sa question ni Jimmy, have you been racially discriminated upon by your fellow police officers?
Not with LAPD or Amtrak PD. The first remark that was not favorable to me was when I was in the Navy.
In the Navy?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
I did 20 years in the Navy. It happened when I was in Virgin Islands. So he was my shipmate too.
Really?
Maybe because he was drunk. So
Mhm.
yeah, I've never been discriminated against here.
Okay, that's good to know. Who was your partner? Did you have one when
I
you
don't.
were?
I didn't have regular partners. Sometimes my partner would be like John Smith, like 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row. But on the fourth day, it would be different. And sometimes I don't have. Most of the time, I didn't have a partner because when I was in, we didn't have the luxury of having partners.
I see.
Yeah, unless you're on probation or you're still a rookie, you gotta have a partner.
During your time, were you just carrying a sidearm, or you had a high-powered firearm as well?
During my
trunk.
time, there were no high-powered rifles. They just came in the late 2000. I only had my Beretta, my Glock, and
Beretta.
my 38,
Okay.
my backup.
I think
And a
part
shotgun.
of the upgrading came about the bank robbery at Van Nuys.
Yeah.
North
You know,
Hollywood, yes.
When the
Hollywood.
police realized that they were outgunned by the thief.
Robbers. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they started upgrading, and I think they started procuring long arms and automatic rifles and whatever.
And the funny thing is, LAPD after the North Hollywood shootout, LAPD was able to acquire used M16s from the Army. So all the M16s were, I believe, from the Army. They were not brand new. They're not brand new. So
You
go ahead.
you mentioned about Amtrak. Did you work with the Amtrak as a police officer? And was that after your LAPD stint?
After my career with LAPD, a few months after my retirement with the LAPD, I joined Amtrak Police.
And how long did you stay with the Amtrak police?
I could have stayed for 5 years, but I needed a 1 year buffer, so I did 6 years with Amtrak just to get the benefits of free train rides for life.
Mm.
So, we have a train pass for my wife and I, life.
So it's lifetime, huh?
Yeah.
So
Anywhere in the U.S.
Anywhere where
Anywhere in
Amtrak
the
goes.
US. Oh,
Anywhere in the
good.
US, yeah.
You know, the
Basta
question.
inaabot. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Yeah, go ahead, Freddie.
Hindi, kasi Amtrak lang. Wala bang yung ano yan? Amtrak, yun lang naman yata ang railways na out of state, no? Cross country.
Yeah, cross country is only Amtrak.
Kasi akala ko kasi sa airline kasi may tinatawag na interline wherein you also get a discount then sasapuhin ng another airline. Ito, kung Amtrak, wala nang ibang train company na sasapot to go beyond kung yun lang ang atin sa Amerika sa mainland.
Yeah, but
Amtrak
if I show my rail pass in Philadelphia, for example, I show my rail pass, I ride the train for free.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then I can go anywhere in the world where there's U.S. military for free also. Remember, I retired from the military, U.S. military. As a matter of fact, several years ago, I flew from Fairfield all the way to Singapore for $6.50 just for my sandwich.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, what a deal.
Okay.
So let's give Eduardo a break. So let's read some of the comments on our Facebook page.
Yeah, we have Beth Rojas Mapote. and Joe Delemos. They're both watching. Si Jim Banaad, sabi niya, present. Si Sean Yu, sabi niya, good evening, Brother Fred, Brother Jerry Trinidad. Beth Rojas Mapote says amen. Si JC Sarmiento, SMIB, I don't know what that stands for. Sabi niya, more power to Radio Filipino USA. Si Bernardo de la Rosa, that's our Kuya Jerry.
Alright.
Okay. Si Beth Rojas, pakibati po ng happy birthday si Nerissa Manuel. 7, that's probably July 12. Ano ba date ngayon? That was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Mary Mapote, July 14. May apo, si Aiza Alovera Rojas, July 15, 16 years old, ng Navotas ng Maring Abic Ronquillo ng Temecula. Si Mandy Canoy Angles is watching. Ronald Rivera is watching. Sabi ni Manny, I'm not so sure if this is Manny or his wife. Sabi niya, I did invite cops for free tacos in Toro Grill House. They did come, but I put a lot of jalapenos. After that, they did not come anymore. Si Manuel Jorge, si Jigor is also watching. Leticia is also watching. Si Emmy Borja, hello there, friends. Blessed to everyone. Si Maria Regina Serenas, hello from Cubao. Ayun.
Wow.
Pwede bang bumati? Batingin ko lang ang mga Philippine Ports Authority sa kanilang 46-year anniversary last July 11th. Meron tayong kaibigan dyan, si Janet Pastolero. Mga kaibigan natin at 46 years sa service to the nation and to the ports of the Philippines. Thank you.
Okay, and Plaridel Tiamzon is also watching. Okay, so
Meron tayong babatiin pala, no? Yung isang birthday celebrant, isa din siyang taga radyo dyan sa Osaka, Japan. Birthday ni Liza Javier.
Liza Javier.
Liza Javier. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Liza. Huh?
Happy birthday.
Sisingit ko na si Angel and Joy Santos. Kikinig sila. Good evening.
Okay.
Okay, may mga suki tayong after dinner, Jerry, ito ang pinaka-dessert nila. yung hour of information. Marami sila natututunan. Pinaka-dessert nila ito.
Yeah.
Can I say hello to somebody?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I sent a text message to a friend, Laura Ignacio of Valencia. If she's watching, hello, the Ignacio family. Or to all the Santa Clarita Valley BFFs, hello to you.
Okay.
And to my family.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so there's there's a question here kay Joe De Lemos. You see that?
Yeah. Siguro before we go into that question, medyo palat, I don't know the exact word. Anyway, the question goes something like this. What was your most fearsome or terrifying experience as a police officer?
I responded to a call in somewhere in East LA, border of West LA and East LA. Many years ago, I don't remember the address, but I tried to open a bedroom door. I couldn't open it. And then I pushed it harder, and there was a body.
A dead body?
Body of a kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Then I had to call detectives and the watch commander, so they responded. So one of them, and then another one was on Mulholland Drive. There was an accident. I was the first person
To respond.
to respond because I was on patrol going to Pacific Palisades
Mhm.
on Mulholland, and there was this guy on a motorcycle, a lot of striations on the skid marks on the road. He was riding a motorcycle, but he wasn't moving. So I removed his helmet,
Mhm.
and I think he broke his neck. So
Wow.
he's dead right there. And he was a tourist. He was not from California. I think it was from Minnesota or Montana, just touring the U.S. I guess. So that was terrifying when I removed his helmet.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure as a cop you see these things a lot of times, and then when you come home, kuminsan affected din kayo,
Yeah.
oh yeah, and Jimmy, and the it's not worse, but it's really bad. When you respond to a dead body. I mean, it's the stinker. They call it the stinker when it's the rotting, the decaying
Yeah.
human body. It
Yes.
it sticks to your uniform. So when you get back to your station, you still smell it. For some reason, the stench of a dead
Yes.
human, it sticks to your clothing. It's just terrible. That's why I wore bags.
Yes.
You see police officers carrying bags.
The bags.
We call it war bags. In my bag, I had cigars. I had Vicks Vapor Rub.
Yes.
Because if we respond to a structure or a house and you see blue flies, they're trying to get in the house. That means they smell the stench. Yeah, mabaho na. So what we do, we put Vicks Vapor Rub in our nostrils, and then after we enter the house, we step out, we light up a cigar.
Imagine the people from the coroner's office when they come in, they must be used to it, Kaya pala mga naka-white gown sila, no?
Yeah.
It just stinks, and then you see maggots all over the
gee.
floor. And, so it's and then I saw a coroner once. He had a pan, and there was the pan, a saucepan was smoking. And then I asked him, "What is that?" And he says, "It's coffee. I'm burning coffee," and he's walking all over the house to get rid of the smell.
Oh,
The
okay.
burning coffee.
Oh, the burning coffee.
Yeah, he was making the coffee grounds was making it a paste na, parang paste na. Tapos naglalakad lang siya.
Anything to take out that scent.
Yeah, the smell. Yeah. Well, that was many years ago. I guess they have modern
May air freshener na ngayon. Baka may Glade mist na. Doon sa tanong ni, I think it was Tony or Ed, about they mentioned about discriminations in the department. We're proud to say, I was reading an article, LAPD is the one that is one of the bigger police departments that are diverse, very diverse, especially now, Nagulat nga ako doon sa figures ng LAPD pa lang ngayon, 44.6% is Latino, 34% white, 11% black, and 9.6 Asian. I'm sure the figures have changed, through the years and ever. Pero ito roughly pa lang average sa diversity ngayon ng ethnic the division ng department. Is this true, Jerry?
I guess back then hindi namin tinitingnan yan. Nobody was giving us the stats, the surveys. Nobody was telling us how many Filipinos. So I guess so. At saka dito, nung nagtatrabaho pa ako sa LAPD, they consider you a Filipino if you speak Filipino. If you don't, you're an American, I guess. And maraming Pilipino sa LAPD, but they don't speak it, so they don't get that 5% increase on their paycheck. Because I speak another language, so I have a 5% on my paycheck because I'm a registered certified translator for that language. Yeah, so.
Are you still in contact with some of your ex-friends or friends in the department?
Sometimes, but mostly with Amtrak PD because that was my last. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I see them when I ride the train. Sometimes I see them. They give me a hard time.
So, Jerry, were you ever involved in a shootout?
No.
No?
I was in a shooting, but I was a rookie, and my partner, my training officer, don't throw your gun. Okay. Stay But most of my calls, I draw my guns. I draw my guns. Yeah, but I didn't. No rounds coming out of the barrel. So, and then if you work East LA, we take our guns out of the holster. Just on our guns on our lap because of the reputation of working at East LA. Actually, it's border East LA and West LA.
Okay.
You have 3 careers, right? During yung service mo, you were with the Navy, you were with LAPD, and then lastly the Amtrak.
Yeah, I retired 3 times.
So who's your favorite?
Amtrak.
Who have the most, well, I
Benefits?
would say financial, yung trabaho, camaraderie among fellow officers. Who would be your favorite?
It would be the Navy.
The Navy.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was an officer. I became an officer. I wasn't enlisted. I was recruited in the Philippines at the age of 23. And I became an officer. And then because of, I guess, my status, I get saluted to. I had a secretary. I had my own parking spot.
Well, you have like 3 pensions, huh? Am I right? 3 pensions, like the Navy, the police, the Amtrak, and what? And one more?
Social
Social
Security.
Security. And that's my favorite, right? Oh, that's
And the donut shop and the corner.
that's a plus the donut
Coffee
shop.
and free
So,
coffee.
Jerry, which among the 3 is the most stressful job that you ever had?
LAPD.
LAPD. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say LAPD because I had to deal with a lot of scumbags.
Yeah.
Danger.
As an Amtrak police, also I had to deal with a lot of people. Fare evaders, there's burglaries, there's train crashes, fatals, suicides.
Oh.
I was working solo. My jurisdiction was all the states west of Texas. By myself at night.
Oh, gee.
So
But
you
most-
physically you
no,
ride
most
with
of-
a train, huh? You
No.
physically ride?
I
Or
was
just the
riding the
station?
train. I was riding the train only in daytime, from Santa Barbara all the way to San Diego.
Oh, Jerry, go ahead.
But the calls, my calls were telephonic calls. I do crime reports over the telephone, like burglary on this, a stolen bicycle, a stolen suitcase, fare evaders, and suicides, getting run over by trains. I've done a lot of those. People getting killed in the middle of the tracks.
Gee.
I've done a lot of those.
So, were you also in uniform when when you were doing the
Yeah, Amtrak.
in arm?
It's the same as LAPD, but with a patch. LAPD, we didn't have patches. Amtrak, I had a patch.
Oh, okay. So I was thinking it was something similar to back when after 9/11, most airlines were making use of what do you call those marshals?
Air marshal.
Yeah, air marshals. So they were not really in uniform. They were like incognito, in other words.
Yeah,
Correct.
undercover.
Yeah,
Yeah. They were in civilian clothes.
yeah.
But sometimes I was in civilian clothes when I was working with the special operations of the Amtrak Police Department. I would go to Santa Barbara in civilian clothes. So, but it was not as stressful as LAPD because
Yes.
most of my calls were just telephone.
Yeah.
But the worst times with Amtrak was to investigate a suicide or a death in the middle of the tracks, getting run over.
Yeah.
Now, imagine if you get run over by a train, how far the body parts would be?
Right.
100 yards, 200 yards, and you have to call the coroner, and you help the coroner identify that's the right eye, that's the left ear, that's the arm, left arm. Okay, and then they bag it. So I would have to be there, watching them.
Mhm.
So,
So Jerry, yeah, what do you do now after retirement?
I babysit my grandkids.
Oh, okay.
So
So you are an
nothing
apostolic.
apostolic duties. So you're not involved in any association with
I
regards
am.
to the police force, like shooting, or
I
are
am.
you? What association are you connected
It's
with?
called the United States Practical Shooting Association. I shoot rifle and pistol competition. Yeah. So
Good.
I shoot there.
So
What
you're still active in competition?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
what would you recommend for a handgun?
For what?
For
Protection.
Blinking
yeah,
just for Sunday morning target practice with
yes.
the family. I suggest a 22.
22?
20 number. The main reason is very cheap. You can shoot all day.
Mhm.
500
okay.
rounds.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
500
see the
rounds
point,
of 22 will cost you less than $50.
But
What
for
about-
residential protection.
Yeah, for self-defense.
Well,
M16?
22, 20 Hey, it's a personal choice.
Yeah.
My choice is my revolver for because I
doesn't
know it
jam.
will not jam.
Yeah.
It will not jam. So it's my personal choice. Others a shotgun. Others a 9mm or 45. So it's a personal choice. Now it doesn't matter what gun, as long as you're proficient with it. And
Definitely.
the safety features, the features of your gun, it's just like any other tool.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you know how to use it, I guess it's fine with me.
Yeah.
So
Kung sa paltik ka magaling at asintado, paltik, di ba?
Kahit pardigones, okay lang.
Perdigones,
Tatamaan ka naman sa mata, o di bulag ka.
Asintado, di ba?
marksmanship,
Marksmanship.
marksmanship. Kaya maraming a lot of innocent bystanders are getting shot because the drive-by shooters
Yeah.
spray and pray. They don't
Right.
care.
Right.
There's no marksmanship.
Yeah.
No marksmanship. Yeah.
Do you think at our age we'll be able to be proficient in handling guns?
Sure.
Let's say at our age we haven't, we haven't shoot a gun. Pwede pa ba? Age of 48.
How's your the eyesight? How's your eyesight?
No, 48 years in America.
You made me nervous, Fred.
As a matter of fact, gentlemen, there's a big competition August 15 at the Prado Olympic
Prado, yeah.
shooting range.
I live
August
close to-
15. August 15. When I was reading the list of the shooters, they're all Filipinos.
Oh, okay. Huh?
Maraming
Filipinos.
mahilig.
And I think 90% are Masons. So it's hosted by a Filipino. Yeah. So I'm inviting you just to watch, just to see how it's done. Yeah.
Speaking of guns, Jerry, lately, pila ang mga gun store. Because of of the fever that's happening nowadays. Because of the cuts. LA City Council wants to cut 150 million sa budget ng LA. So people are buying guns. Nowadays they feel that there'll come a time na when they call 911, either matagal dumating or baka walang dumating. So they're arming themselves. In a way, medyo problema rin sa police yun, because you're responding to a residence that might have a firearm. Hindi ba? Mas,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hindi lang sa California, it's all over the U.S.
All over,
Because some scumbags will just barge into your house and because there are no cops to respond. They know they won't be prosecuted. They know they won't be arrested because there are no cops. So, hey,
nakakatakot.
more power to you. Arm yourselves as long as you're proficient.
Proficient.
It doesn't have to be a firearm. It can be a taser. So, I mean,
Guns and
Mace.
roses.
mace,
I'll pick the roses.
Yeah. So, police officers, we carry guns. We have concealed carry weapon for life.
Oh, okay.
So that's why retirees, we carry guns all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's one of the perks, huh?
One
So
of the
you-
perks, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were active as a police officer, I know you do firing testing.
Qualification.
Yeah. So if you fail, what happens?
You have to shoot again.
Shoot again?
Yeah, shoot again until you pass.
Uh-huh.
The range master will not let you go until you pass.
Oh, okay.
I was a range master for Amtrak Police Department. I failed one person
Mm-hmm.
because this officer couldn't pass.
Oh, gee. So
So
when
this person cannot go out on patrol,
oh, okay.
I see. Mm-hmm.
Jerry, I have a question.
sir.
Let's say I have a licensed gun, but I'm not licensed to carry outside now. Isn't it that is your car part of your home that you can have your, your gun in there or your office?
Sure.
Okay, but what about when you
when
transport?
when you buy your gun, when you buy your gun, it's registered to your name. It's not licensed to
Yeah.
carry. It's not licensed to carry, but you
Yes.
can safely transport your firearm in your car, not within your reach,
Okay,
another destination. Sure, you can do that.
so from home to the car,
range, to the office,
to the car, to the range,
Sure.
or from home to the car, from the car to the office, and vice versa.
But I
What
think not
if-
loaded with no bullets in the chamber or anything.
I
No.
have. It's
What-
iffy. It's very gray because I've stopped some people. They would say I have a gun. I said okay, all right. So, I mean, it's not using the crime. I don't care. We don't care. You have a gun, so what? Good for you. But as long as it's not an instrument of the crime, we don't care.
Shall we disclose that? Shall we disclose it just for a traffic stop, traffic ticket?
It's up to
Shall
you.
we
but
disclose?
Why?
Okay, so in other words,
what would you gain? What would you gain if you tell the officer I have a gun? Why not just wait if he asks you?
Yeah.
okay. If they ask you, then what?
Yeah, I have a gun.
Oh,
And then
okay.
what? But
What's
but-
next?
no.
Where is
but
the gun?
Why
If it's all
why were you pulled over?
The probable cause.
probable cause?
What was the probable cause of stopping you?
Maybe just a broken taillight
Okay, broken taillight. So he had no right to inspect
to
your
inspect.
car.
There you go. Yeah. Okay.
So he needed a probable cause, So if you're seen fleeing, you match the description of the person fleeing the scene of a crime. Oh, sure,
Yeah.
you'll be detained.
Yeah.
We do this. When you do this, bracelets. We say, bracelets, partner. You've been handcuffed. And then we search your car, because searching your car is incident to tow and arrest.
Okay.
So is there any requirement when you transport your gun from, let's say, from your home to a target range? I know there are now some requirements that you need to have the gun inside the locked safe, and of course the bullets or the magazines is not inside the gun.
So unloaded.
Back in the day, the gun should not be within your reach, and it should not be loaded. Back in my day, a loaded gun also means that a magazine loaded, touching the gun is loaded, considered loaded.
Uh-huh.
So as long as the weapon is not within your reach, it's okay.
Okay.
For example, like Tony, Officer Trinidad, I have a gun in the trunk. Okay, is it loaded? Yes. Okay, so here's your ticket for running a stop sign. Have a nice day. That's it. I don't care if you had a gun.
Okay.
Jerry, can you make a comment? There was a AYRES report, AYRES report, American Civil Liberties Unions, they're always, on our tail. Even with the DMV, they make a negative report. Their contention is that Afro-American, Hispanics are overstopped, over-frisked, over-searched, and over-arrested. It's today's contention. How would you comment on a report like that would come out? Mostly we're reading on the media.
I think it's overblown. A police officer, we go to the same training. We search thoroughly. We do the same search. You go to Torrance department, you go to Hawthorne, we do the same system. We do the same search. There's no such thing as, okay, you're done. No, we search thoroughly. So there's no such thing as because you're black or you're Filipino or you're Asian, we're gonna search you, more thoroughly than this person. No, we do the same search pattern with all suspects, all person that we detain. We do the same thing.
Male, female?
No, female's different. Pregnant women, it's different. We always call for a female officer to search a female suspect. Always. Yeah. But if there's no female officer available, we do the search. It's called pat down. We don't, like searching. I mean, we don't do that.
Sometimes the back of the palm.
Yeah, and it's different now because of this video cameras. Back in my day, there was no video cameras. We didn't have digital cameras. I still carried Polaroid cameras in my war bag. I didn't have a cell phone.
The problem now is everybody carries a camera because of the cell phone. And if there's a problem sometimes when it comes out in the evening news, they don't play the whole segment of.
They
play the one that would sell the news or sell the paper.
Correct.
And that's the problem. So a lot of times it happens. The whole picture is not brought out to the public.
Yeah, and in my opinion, all police departments are very political. They're very political. So it's one of the reasons I retired from LAPD.
When you say political, can you give some examples?
Sure. Some people get promoted; they get transferred to cush positions. Even if they're not, you think they're not qualified. I would say, I don't know if I'm a victim of that or I was a victim of that because I applied for this position. I knew I was qualified, but this department had picked somebody else. So I think that's political to me.
Yeah.
Is there a tint of racism also?
No.
Maybe favoritism, right?
Favoritism, but not about the color of your skin.
Maybe a preference. I would call it a preference, maybe.
Yeah. I knew I was qualified. I knew that. But then this guy, this officer was picked. Instead of me.
Yeah, that's sad.
And I think a chief of police, is that an appointed position by the mayor? Usually?
No. It's I think the blessing comes from the police commission, I believe, and
police
the mayor,
commission.
Police.
Okay.
LAPD. I don't know about the rest of the country. But,
Okay.
Did you notice the Willie Williams? There you go, Chief Willie Williams.
The big guy. Yeah.
Yes. Did you notice the way he wore his uniform? He didn't have a gun.
I see.
Have you seen him with a gun in any public setting? Interviews.
So why is that?
Why is that?
He couldn't qualify.
Oh, gee. I
A
didn't know that.
chief of police, right?
Yeah, but see, the thing is, he didn't have to do patrol.
Oh.
He didn't have to do patrol. He's an admin person.
I thought he was advocating a non-violent nature. He shouldn't qualify.
You just have to rely on his age.
In my
Age.
academy class
Mhm.
from Philadelphia, he showed me my classmate. He showed me
Uh-huh.
his ID card signed by Willie Williams.
Uh-huh.
And then after we graduated, it was signed by Willie Williams. We had two ID cards from two departments signed by Willie Williams. Is that something?
Yeah.
Philadelphia PD, LAPD, Willie Williams.
I think he took over. Did he take what? He took over. What was it? Gates, Chief Gates, I think.
Yeah, Gates.
Yeah.
And I have a question. There's a lot of listeners, that are asking after the interview, how would they see the replay of this episode? I know we're on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but right after our show, right after the show, those people, those viewers that didn't catch, our
The
episode,
live. Mhm.
where the live telecast, where would they go? Where would they in Facebook? Yeah, in Facebook. But how would they find this RFUSA in Facebook or in YouTube? Because they're confused.
Yeah.
You know.
For YouTube, I think they would have to wait for a few days because we have to upload the video. Now, immediately after this program, maybe you will have to wait for a few minutes, maybe somewhere between 5 or 7 minutes,
Okay.
and just go to facebook.com/Radio Filipino USA without any space. And once you're in the Radio Filipino USA page, on your left-hand side, you would see the navigation link. Just click on videos, and then you will see, the latest videos and all the other videos that have been presented in the past.
So we have an archive, right? We have
Yeah.
an archive.
Yeah.
Is that also the same way of looking us up overseas? Like the Middle East, the in the Philippines, the same
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Facebook
Yeah.
slash
So once again, it's facebook.com/Radio
Facebook.
Filipino USA. And then on the left-hand side, you will see the navigation link, which says video. Click on that, and that would go straight into the archives of videos that we have.
Starting from the latest down to the
The latest,
oldest.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that's how it is, because I believe our guest here would love to know that, and his friends, would want to watch the show tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ed, maybe you should read some of the comments and
Yeah.
some of the people who joined later. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. We have a message from Cesar G. La Chica Jr. Looking good, Kuyang Jerry. Good evening po sa lahat. May you all stay safe. God bless RFUSA. From Manny, Kuya Jerry, have you encountered someone that you have drawn your gun and pointed to the person? You don't have to answer that right away. Let me just finish the other comments that we have here. Also from Manny, his question goes, when you joined the LAPD, gusto din ba ni Mrs. o ng mga bata, hindi ba sila natakot? Okay, and then from Evangeline de la Cruz, Evangeline Trinidad is watching from New Jersey. Hello, Kuya.
My sister.
Oh, okay. Bernardo de la Rosa, Natividad T. de la Rosa and family are watching from San Jose. Bernardo de la Rosa, we are proud of you. We are proud of our Kuya. And then Manuel Carlos, sir, how does the police department handle those called bad cops? Evangeline Ulanday, thank you for watching. Now, feel free to answer those two questions, Jerry.
I have drawn my drawing my guns is almost every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost every day. When I was on Amtrak, I drew my gun like maybe out of 6 years, maybe a dozen times only.
Oh.
Yeah, but LAPD most of the time, because we do searches. When we do searches, we're looking for on a felony call. We have to draw our guns, and also a felony stop. We're stopping a car, a felony call. We have to draw our gun. So sometimes I take my shotgun out too. So yeah, it's for us. It's very common. It's very common. Like what I said earlier, border West LA and East LA, our guns are unholstered.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's always on our lap and driving with one hand because it's the reputation of that area.
Yeah. Okay, let me refresh your memory as far as the second question. Sabi niya, when you joined the LAPD, gusto din ba ni Mrs. o ng mga bata, hindi ba sila natakot?
My at first my wife was apprehensive, reluctant on me being a police officer because I was away 7 months at a time. I was in the military, and then joining the police department, I would be away again. You know, almost all day, sometimes 2 days straight, and then when the checks started coming in, so so, but my mother was very supportive, and my sisters, they were very supportive. My brother, because my father was also a police officer in the Philippines,
see.
PC,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
Philippine Constabulary. So,
Okay.
yeah, they're very supportive. But and after a few days, my wife and the kids, well, the kids were still young, so, but they started getting proud of me. You know, say, hey, you know, Dad is an LAPD officer, so they got over it. So
That's good.
Yeah.
Jerry, on the contention that instead of the use of force, the escalation technique should be used or utilized. Can you comment on that?
verbal, it's called verbal judo.
Okay.
You just bull your way out of this. You know, just talking to a suspect is very combative, not combative, but very
Argumentative,
mouthy,
maybe.
mouthy suspect. Just do a verbal judo, and then if he started to show aggressiveness, and go ahead and apply the hands, your hands to arrest him or threaten him with a taser or a baton. Yeah, most of the time when you show your that you're going to inflict harm on him, they would back down. You tell them to get on their knees, to be on their knees. So I'm tiny, but when I draw my baton, they would, you know. So, and I didn't have tasers back then. We had pepper spray.
So
So
go ahead. Go ahead. Ed.
you can escalate. You can escalate. You can elevate the investigation. So gradually until you get to know him, and then he starts coming down. Said, "Okay, sir, all right, Freddie. Turn around, put your hands back, and then okay, where are you taking me?" So, oh, there you go. So,
Jerry, for someone who is aspiring to become a law enforcer, what do you think would be the right mindset?
right mindset would be just keep your nose clean, tell the truth, because during the interview, they will know you're lying because the questions they ask you, they already know the answers. Also, work out, work out, work out, and join the force while you're still young. Run.
And of course, your credit. Take care
Oh
of
yeah,
your credit.
that one.
Your credit's very big.
Yeah, I never imagined that would be, that would be playing a big role.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah. So one of the big factors
Yeah.
in getting hired by the police department. So the
They even know.
especially FBI. I was a firearm instructor I was trained by FBI, and then they telling me, he said, "Oh man, credit rating, you know, just shooting debris with them. They talk about credit rating." So
That's
Yeah.
why they say return, even don't have unreturned library books. They would know.
Oh, yeah.
and the biggest question, one of my classmates was asked this: "Have you been in contact with the law enforcement agency?" This classmate of mine answered no. He was. He was in contact. He had a DUI,
Oh, okay.
That's why. Kuya Jerry.
but he forgot. He forgot that.
Kuya Jerry, having served the military for so many years now, and would that be an influence joining the police force? And is there any relationship? Was there any there?
Yeah,
Because
because I
go
was
ahead.
fascinated by men and women in uniform. All my life, I love
Okay.
wearing uniforms. So military and the police. So I mean,
Okay,
I like wearing uniforms.
but then after the military service, and if so happened you were in Manila, would you join the Manila police too, or you only
No.
joined because of the you're here and you
Yeah,
want the
yeah.
LAPD? But if you're in the Philippines and you're staying in Manila, would you join the police force in
No,
Manila?
no, no.
Would
I
I?
don't think. I don't think so. I joined the military, but not the police.
Okay, Jerry, I think we missed one question from Manuel Carlos. Ang
Okay.
question niya how does the police department handle those called bad cops?
Oh, they get fired. First they're investigated, and then if there's a good reason that they should be terminated, they're terminated. And I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes in my years with both LAPD and Amtrak PD. Officers were getting fired. Yeah, and there's no ifs, no buts. Yeah, in fact, chiefs are getting fired. Chiefs get fired. Deputy chiefs get fired with Amtrak. LAPD, I've seen my classmates get fired. I've seen officers get fired. Yeah, it's. I guess other departments, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how the termination process it. But in LAPD, if you're bad, you'll be booted out.
And with LAPD, you see almost every day we have those car chases, which are heavily televised. And you see that when they catch the suspect, everything is like in order and in protocol, like it's easy. It's not easy to make a mistake because you're surrounded by about 20 officers right away and doing it by the book. Everything's by the book.
Yeah.
And I guess a mistake could easily happen. Maybe in the other departments which are far off, a smaller department, like what happened, a few months ago, which started this all. There was just like 3 or 4 police personnel in that particular incident, But in LAPD, you got at any time there's 7-10 cars right away,
That's why we respond in mass.
En masse, yes.
It's better to respond with many officers than with few officers because you can reduce the number of officers. You can no longer increase. What if those officers are on other calls? So, yeah, that's why we respond in mass all the time.
There you
It's
go.
just like a perimeter. When we do a perimeter, we do a wide perimeter because we can decrease it instead of increasing it. Yeah, freeway chases. This is my original joke. There are four seasons in Los Angeles: earthquakes, fires, drive-by shootings, and freeway chases.
Which one is your favorite?
None. I think a month or 2 months before I retired, I was on a freeway chase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was the primary. I was a primary car. It was a renter car that was not returned.
Gee.
Allow me to tell you a story. It's a very nice story. I was working with a Japanese guy. He spoke fluent Japanese, and there was a call that needed a Japanese translator. So we went there, and this person was about to jump off the building. Luckily, my partner spoke Japanese, so they spoke Japanese, and he was able to calm the person down. And it just so happened that my partner was Japanese. It just,
Yeah. So
Hey, Jerry, was it true that I heard from somebody that you did a part-time job in Vietnam as a police officer? Is that true?
no, no.
Just
fake news.
I was in Vietnam after the war. After I was, while I was in the Navy, I was in Vietnam.
you
My
speak-
ship was no. My ship was off the coast of Vietnam. We were picking up refugees to be transported to the Philippines, Guam, Hawaii. That was after the war. So
Where did you get that story, Freddie?
yeah, because
I was-
I've heard he
was-
speaks fluent Vietnamese.
I won't say it online.
On air.
I won't say it. No.
Even this much?
No. This guy should listen to me say it, right? And also,
Yeah. So
and also I can do Russell Peters' Indian accent.
What about a Vietnamese accent?
No.
We were talking about
No,
that.
no.
I had a cousin who was now a retired San Bernardino sheriff, and he was telling me a story because he's from Batangas. He had an arrest, and he told the suspect, "Get down." He said, "Get down," and the suspect was not responding. So repeatedly, "Get down," and then his sergeant came, "Hey, he doesn't understand you. You change it," and then he said, "On your knees." There. There
Get
is no
down.
daon. There is no. The sergeant said, "Be careful." There is no. I don't know about the daon, but speak clearly. My friends in Batangas, hello. I'm just.
Are you from Batangas, Jimmy?
No, I have my cousins there. I'm Tagalog from Nueva Ecija, but I was laughing at that because he said my accent, and then I said, "Why did you retire?" Because everybody that I was running after, I couldn't catch anymore. they were faster than me, so maybe I thought that was my cue.
Exactly. Also, another reason to retire because I'm getting up there, and I said, "Did you chase it?" Heck no! There's a helicopter. There's K9. Why should I chase? K9 helicopter. I'm not gonna run.
It's embarrassing when you tell your surgeon, "What happened?" Nadapa ako. He had to climb a fence. "What did you do?" "I went around."
The climbing fence is very dangerous. We had a story. There was a story. This officer was wearing his wedding band. Climbed a fence, and his wedding band got caught the spikes, broke his finger.
yeah.
There might be a dog, on the other side, who knows?
Oh, always.
So it's
I have a lot of
it's really-
stories I have a lot of stories to tell you, but it's not appropriate for social media.
But at least, in other words, it's safe not to wear your wedding band.
Yeah.
Diba? If you're on duty.
That's correct. If we have the time to get together, the five of us, I have more stories to tell you. But it's not proper for me.
Anyway, I know we have extended our time. Huh?
Oh, we did?
Yeah, we
Wow.
did. And
Parang bilis, interesting. Wala pa nga yung juicy part, no?
yes, I know.
Yeah,
There
I
are
have
a lot
a lot of
more.
juicy parts.
Yeah, there are a lot more. I know. But Maybe a part 2 would be good. Huh?
Yeah.
Wala na. No, we'll do the part 2,
Uh-huh.
pero tayo lang. Kasi
Oh.
Bobber,
The
I
microphone
can't.
off.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Zoom na lang.
Yeah.
Para ano, mahirap na eh. Oh.
Pero
Well, if we, I can do it. I can do more if we shut down. It's not on social. I don't want you guys to post it on social media.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Don't worry, you're already retired, you know. You're not.
Pero Jerry, even before we end, in my experience with law enforcement officers, they are one of the most honest and respectable persons I've ever
Yeah.
met.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
That's it.
Whether they work for the DMV, whether the sheriff's department, or the city where I live in, they're really, I'm blessed that I've met them. They're very respectable persons.
Thank you. Thank you. On behalf of my brothers and sisters in uniform. Also, my business card says LAPD. I'm retired. It still works for some people. To get out a ticket. He's my brother. He's my brother-in-law.
Imagine the service you gave,
Yeah.
to the city. It's just immeasurable. Mahirap pantayan yun.
Every day, you're
Every
risking
day,
your
you risk
you're
your
risking
life.
your life.
Sabi nga nila, you don't know if you'll come home to your family in one piece.
Yeah. That's it.
That's true. Been there, done that. Yeah.
And did you know that LAPD uniform, our street uniform, the black, or it's called it dark blue,
Yes.
dark navy, it's 100% wool.
Why wool?
Okay.
It is 100%. Well, it was required back in the day. My time, it's 100% wool. You cannot wear anything else but 100% wool. It has to be dry clean. Just imagine the heat during summer, and we were wearing our vests,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
imagine that. So, 100% wool.
Tsaka when you see our officers here in California, talaga ang tayo nila magigiting at saka very fit ang dating. When you go to sa East Coast, makikita mo, bakit
Maraming budget.
parating donut. Mukhang mas madalas sa donut shop ang mga...
And you can be seen smoking in public.
Oh,
So, I mean, you can be seen smoking in public.
yeah. Tsaka
Sa
yung...
Italy, they smoke and their hair is so long and
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Iba rito. They're magandang
Very,
training.
very disciplined.
Discipline. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so we have to end, unfortunately. But
so
it
we
was
did work 1 hour and wow.
30 minutes.
It's-
Yeah.
yeah.
35 minutes.
Overtime na si...
Nagiging regular na yata ang 1 hour and a half.
that's true.
Minimum.
Yeah, that's
Because
why.
the questions you post are very interesting, and I love to answer them. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for-
And even the questions from our listeners, they're really interested. Yeah.
Tsaka very timely, Tony, Ed. No? Very timely dahil, sa nangyayari ngayon.
Yeah.
Very timely at Jerry is our guest at narinig natin from the mouth of
horse's mouth.
a real officer
That's right.
out in the field. The dangers that he has experienced.
The stress.
Sa hirap, the political nature of his fellow employees who are still working.
Yeah.
Humirap maging police nowadays.
Yeah, pakonti ang mga pulis ngayon. Katulad sa Amtrak PD, there's very few officers now. So, very few officers. So.
Yeah.
Ang New York nga daw is processing 600 applications for retirement.
Wow.
Easily daw 1,000 pinigil lang. Hininto.
See?
Dahil ang daming gusto mag-retire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tsaka sad day for police officers kahapon. Ito, McAllen, Texas, 2 inambush.
Oh,
Okay.
McAllen, Texas.
yeah. I know that place. I know very well that place.
They were just responding to a domestic call.
See.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's just, and there are tragic domestic calls, and there are funny. I mean, very funny domestic calls. Domestic calls. That's why I can't
Yeah. There will be
Oh,
another time, another place.
yeah, with beer, I mean, with
Yeah,
whiskeys in our hand,
that's true.
Tony, meron tayong pang-bleep, parang pag sinabi ni Kuya Jerry.
No.
I saw her peep. And then when I went in the house, they were peep. Hindi ba maganda yun? Ano?
Ma-edit
Unfortunately,
lang.
we do not have
Ah,
that. So maybe we can cut it once.
Pagdating sa
Jimmy,
pagdating
yung
sa
background mo,
YouTube, pwede na.
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
Jimmy, yung background mo, saan yan?
Which one? Yung mine?
Yung yung
Yung
background
background.
mo, yung
Yung bundok.
snow-capped
That's
mountains.
San Bernardino Mountains.
May
I'm
snow
here
pa
in,
ba talaga ngayon dyan?
I'm here in
Ang
Chino
init.
Hills. So Chino Hills is under contract with the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. Kaya we have our own police force, but they're sheriffs from the San Bernardino.
Yeah, I went training there. I went to San Bernardino PD for training.
Yes,
for 5
I know
days,
their place. And yung sinasabi niyong Prado Range is about 15 minutes from here, 10 minutes from here. Yeah.
Yun naman background ni where si Fred, kunyan doon sa beer house niya yan sa Pilipinas.
Maraming libro eh. Pag
Ready lang ako. Baka may magtanong, hindi mo masagot. Kukuha lang ako ng libro sa likod.
May resource
Babasahin
materials
ko.
Andun yung mga law books. Andun yung mga law books ni Freddie. Ready.
Ready na ako sa mga tanong eh.
Mga tanong eh.
Tuloy naalala ni Ed yung kanyang days nung nagte-training siya, nakita niya yung mga libro mo dyan. Okay, so we would like to thank you, Ed, for the time that you spent with us, and we learned a lot, and I'm sure our listeners and people who are watching us had the same experience. So again, we would like to thank you, and regards to the big family that you have, and not only your family is proud of you, but we are all proud of you.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
Okay,
It was an honor. It was an honor to be here with you.
the pleasure is ours. Okay, so umpisa na tayo magpaalam. Let's reserve the last goodbye to Ed, and we'll start with Jim.
Okay, so nagdaan na naman po mabilis. Parang hangin lang po dumaan itong isang oras. Lampas na pala, no? Very interesting, very timely, and very informative. Ganyan po rito sa Radyo Filipino USA. Wag po kayong mawawala. Good evening. Thank you sa aming guest, Jerry. Thank you very much for all the information. Tony and Ed for inviting me and Freddie dito sa Radyo Filipino. Wag kayong mawawala. Okay, till next time, magandang gabi po at magandang tanghali sa inyong lahat.
Okay, Fred?
Wonderful show again tonight. Special thanks kay Kuya Jerry. And I hope the listeners will see us again every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And for those na would like to follow up na hindi nakapanood, they can go to that website that Ed mentioned earlier, the facebook.com. // RFUSA.
No, Radio Filipino USA.
Oh, you have to put the whole radio, the whole thing. Not RF, not RF. So Radio Filipino USA.com.
No.
Wala na.
Wala na yung
because nasa Facebook na yun eh.
Yeah.
Facebook, yun lang po. Salamat po. Thank you.
Okay, Ed Lagman.
Okay, thank you so much to Officer Eduardo Jerry Trinidad for accepting our invitation, of course, through the courtesy of Freddie Ison. At mabuhay kayo at sama-sama tayo uli sa Miyerkules. Magandang gabi.
Okay, and we reserve the last goodbye for Eduardo Trinidad.
Well, thank you, Radio Filipino USA. It was an honor. It was an honor to be here, and finally to have met the gentleman responsible for this meeting. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Mabuhay.
You're welcome.
Mabuhay.
Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay po kayo. Sige po. Paalam.